Hi, everybody. It's Wednesdays with Larijuana. I'm your host, Larry Love, from Medical Marijuana Radio in Santa Fe, New Mexico. Every Wednesday on CannaWannaBuy.com, we will bring you the latest in recreational and medical marijuana news, info, and events from around the country and around the world. This week, I found a really interesting article on theweedblog.com, and when I read the title, it just really resonated with me. And here it is. Remember when people grew marijuana for quality, not quantity? This is written by Johnny Green. Johnny goes on to say, 2 days ago, an older friend came by and visited me for the first time in a while. He had a nugget of some of the finest marijuana that I've seen in the last 5 to 10 years. He didn't know what strain it was, but quite frankly, I didn't care because it was so good. The smell, the look, the taste, it was all there. I told him how it's been a long, long time since I've seen marijuana that good, and asked him where he got it. He gave me the classic story about his friend who grew it but doesn't sell it because it just takes so long and the harvesting and the yields. And he went on to say he only grows it so that he and his friends have something for special occasions. It's been years since I heard someone say those words. It seems like everyone and their grandma grows marijuana now, and almost all of them are growing for high yields. That's not to say that those same growers don't want the best quality too, but when it comes to motivation, quantity over quality is the name of the game these days. Profit and greed have taken over. I've heard many, many growers boast about how much yield they got per plant, only to quickly follow it up with something like, "It isn't the best, but I got so much of it that it more than makes up for it." That's fine from a profiteer standpoint, but as someone that doesn't grow anymore yet wants to ride the highest high, I wish more people would be like that first grower as opposed to the second grower. There is so much mediocre marijuana on the West Coast right now, it's insane. If I see someone's Monster Blue Dream Harvest one more time and it's not top shelf, but there's a lot of it, I'm going to start naming names. Well, not really, but seriously, people, where's the growers that are growing the best quality possible, period? I know you're out there. I've seen some kosher kush in Colorado that fit the bill, and there's a couple of growers I know in Oregon that are coming up with it. And I agree with Johnny Green there. Most of the dispensaries are growing for quantity and not quality. I hope that'll change soon. Now, talking about different strains, this is an article from the LA Weekly in California. Marijuana strains like OG Kush are meaningless, expert says. This is dated December the 3rd. OG Kush, Skywalker, Pineapple Express, Sour Diesel, Sour Jack. These are the strains that medical marijuana consumers are sold, often at premium prices, with the promise that they will do something special for you. But a foremost cannabis expert, Jeffrey Raber, who holds a PhD in chemistry from USC, says it's all BS. Those names don't mean anything, and a forthcoming study that he's working on will prove it, Raber tells us. In fact, he even disputes the commonly held notion that the two polar types of weed, indica and sativa, produce opposing effects, specifically that an indica is more of a depressant and sativa is more of an upper. The data shows that indica and sativa is just a morphology, the plant's appearance and structure, and not their highs. It's a misperception that indicas will put you to sleep or that sativa is more energetic. To be sure, many of the aforementioned strains pack a punch promised by their purveyors. But beyond that, especially when it comes to projections of stimulations or relaxation, head trips versus body highs, and strain-specific cures and treatments, it's a crapshoot, Raber says. There's no scientific basis for the claims being made by pot shops about the effects of their weed, Raber argues. In fact, he says his study is showing that what's being sold as OG Kush in one shop could be something completely different in another. Most people don't even know, he says. We look at a popular name like Jack Herrera and found that most didn't even look like each other. OG whatever, Kush whatever, and the marketing that goes along with it. It's not really medicinally designed. Raber's company, The Workshop, provides testing for medical marijuana dispensaries so that they can sell pesticide-free weed that has been verified. The strain study that he's working on is analyzing more than 1,000 brands of cannabis sold at pot shops, Raber says. The science involved is called metabolics, and will look at metabolites, cannabinoids, and terpenes, and 42 other aspects of each sample, he says. The pot expert plans to see the study published by next spring. He hopes that in the end, the research will establish new guidelines for naming strains so that they're consistent from dispensary to dispensary, and more importantly, so they can actually mean something to the consumer. So that's our report for this week. We'll be back again next Wednesday for Wednesdays with Larijuana.